Good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon. We are back again with another golf tournament preview. Last week we did the 3M. We had a couple of hits, couple of misses. Akshay Bhatia absolutely blew it for us in the last round. Tied for first heading into the last round of the tournament. Absolutely blows it. Tragic to see. Shout out to Kurt Kitayama, who has now secured a spot in the playoffs with his win. Played some great golf. Was not a course fit. Was not a guy that I think a lot of people thought was going to win that tournament, but he does. Either way, on to the next one. The 3M is behind us. 3M is behind us. We go to Sedgefield Country Club this week for the Wyndham Championship, the last tournament before the FedEx Cup playoffs. And what we're going to do, let's take a quick little glance at the current FedEx Cup standings. The top 70 will move on to the FedEx next week, and then I believe it's top 50, top 30 to the Tour Championship. So let me share my screen. This is what we are working with right now. These don't really matter. What we're looking at are golfers right here. Some interesting names just on the outside. Nikolai Højgaard, he's had some great appearances. You can see he's only 4 points behind that last spot. And we're going to see a lot of these guys playing golf this week. They have one last chance. Keith Mitchell misses the cut last week. A lot of these guys are going to be playing if they can, trying to secure those last few spots. Shout out our man Emiliano Grillo. Not securing a spot, but he's in the top 70 now after a good performance. That was a guy that we were kind of high on. And then we look down here. We got some Rasmus Højgaard. This is my guy right here. Short king off the tee. Davis Thompson, Christian Bezuidenhout, he's been one of my guys. Thor Bjornsson, another one of my guys. He is playing this week. Tom Kim, one of the favorites. He's going to be one of the favorites this week at this course. He's played well here before. He's sitting on the outside. And we have a couple, Bo Hostler's a name, Billy Horschel's a name, but he's been dealing with an injury. Joel Damon had a decent performance. Our boy Rico Huey, things are looking slim. Not looking great for Rico Huey. And we're getting kind of down here to guys that probably don't have a chance to make it. Thorborn or Olsen would have benefited greatly from a win last week. So, and then let's just look at the top real quick. Kevin Yu, our guy Kevin Yu, Ricky Fowler, shout out to him. Tony Finau, Grazerman's in there, Vegas is in there. Kitayama with a huge jump. And then we get into the top 50s, guys that are likely not going to lose their spots, probably. Bhatia, Siwoo Kim, Potgieter, our guy. It's going to be a fun playoffs, but we're not worried about the playoffs right now. The players are, we're not. We're worried about Sedgefield. We're worried about the Wyndham Championship. So, as we did last week, let's go ahead and start by looking at what the course demands. And we can look at this course fit tool on Data Golf, and we can see driving accuracy, again, is going to be pivotal. Driving distance, not so much. That doesn't mean you're going to be penalized for being a big hitter. It means if you're a big hitter and you sacrifice accuracy, you're going to hurt a little bit. So speaking of, let's go look at Kitayama and how he did last week. If the data is in there, it is. A little bit below average in accuracy. Drove the ball really well off the tee. Great in approach. Yeah, obviously he's going to succeed. So we'll go back here. Course fit, if we're looking for long shots, it's going to be guys that are accurate off of the tee. Now, obviously you have your golfers at the top that if they drive the ball far and they don't sacrifice accuracy, they're going to thrive. But overall, Sedgefield, pretty easy course. If I remember correctly, and we can look at tournament history, let's see. What score won last year? 18 under 1, Aaron Rai. Notably short guy off the tee. Grazerman, Spahn, Rio Hisatsune. Saying the name wrong. Hisatsune. He's short off the tee as well. I think great. Yeah. Grazerman's long off the tee, but not very accurate, so he's a bit of an anomaly. Our boy Rio here. Accurate, not super long. This is how the tournament shaped up last year. We'll see for the event. Off the tee, not super important. Approach, not super important. And around the green, probably the least important. We'll take a look at how this course stacks up against other courses. And we'll see Sedgefield right here. I have this sorted by par 5 difficulty. Only 2 par 5s on this course. Both of them play super easy. They play super easy. So you can see here the third easiest par 5s, and then also not a very difficult place to hit approach shots into. So I think of a guy like Sun JM that's shorter off the tee, has been struggling with approach recently, might be an opportunity to play a guy like Sun JM. We'll get into the players. We'll get into all that. I do want to take a look real quick if they have a hole-by-hole breakdown. I know they do. It's just a matter of me finding it. Hole level stats. See, so this is last year, the two easiest holes. We have the 5th par 5, 533 yards, 73 birdies, and 10 eagles. Actually, over 50% of the holes played here resulted in someone scoring under par. And we have a very similar situation here with birdies and eagles on the 15th hole, par 5, 548 yards. About 55% of the people that played this hole scored under par. So, easy par 5s. Not super long par 5s. So let's take a look at the course from the satellite view. This is hole 1. And you can see here we have this marker set, 280. Not really challenging on this hole. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Hopefully the fairways look better than what the satellite's showing us, because these fairways look burnt up. We'll go to the next hole. Going to require a little bit of play here, but again, we take a look and we want to set target right here. Played a little short. That's only 250 yards. You're left with 190 in. A little iffiness right here. A little iffiness that could cause some issues for some guys. This little ravine runs up to the right with a little bridge here. Interesting hole, but nothing crazy. Hole 3, par 3. Look at that green. And this is probably why approach does not matter much, because this green is absolutely massive. Let's see how wide this green is. I'm thinking that's, a 30-yard green. So we're sitting here, we're looking at a par 3 that's 172 yards, massive green, nothing crazy. This is another, oh no. See, that's how bad this course is. I thought that was the tee. This is probably where the accuracy comes into play, because holy crap. That's an intimidating tee shot. This is 285. Even if you don't, this is cutting it off a little bit. If you want to take a little off and maybe go right here, that's 231. That leaves you with 200 in. Let's take a look at how this hole played last year. This is hole 4. And I want to go to hole by, yeah, this hole played pretty difficult, as you can see. A lot of pars, 36 bogeys, 19 birdies. For good reason. It's very narrow. I think, let's do a quick little measure here. 32 yards, but with trees to the left and right. You can't afford to miss here. You cannot afford to miss. That's why this course is advantageous to guys that are accurate off the tee. And distance doesn't really pay off. Hole 5. This is one of the first par 5s we have. Straight. Let's do this. We'll measure the fairway. 28 yards. Okay, fair. What is the distance from, let's say, the end of the cart path to where the trouble looks to start? 53 yards. So, fairway is a little narrow. You have room if you want to bomb it here. This is a 285-yard tee shot that's going to leave you 237 into the green. Again, very easy hole. Just got to make sure you keep it straight. The distance isn't a huge problem here. Hole 6, we have a par 4, 420 yards. This is going to be interesting. What would be the length? If you hit it dead straight, you're going to have to carry it 300 over. So, if we go back to setting our target about here, you're not really going to be taking driver here. A lot of guys aren't. You're going to have a 250-yard layup, have about 170 yards into the green. Again, a big green and a lot of space to go wrong here. But again, you're not taking driver. You're not taking driver off this hole, most likely. And you have a dump off to the right, not much issues to the left. Hole 7, par 3, 224 yards. Long green, but not very wide. You have some issues to the right and the left. Interesting hole there. Won't spend too much time on that. Short par 4, 370 yards. I think we will probably see some guys go for it, but it's a bit of a risk or reward. To the front of the green, it's 347, so you have guys that could probably take driver and make it close, but You know, even the guys that aren't super long, this ravine's not going to be much of an issue. It's only a 230 carry. They can lay up somewhere right around here, and you're going to have a nice little wedge in to try and make your birdie. Short par 4. Interesting hole, slightly to the right. Again, if you hit this 285, you have room to play with outside of this bunker. You can miss short, you have room to the right. You can take driver if you're a longer hitter. Go about right here. You got room to the right. That would work as well. Not too difficult of a hole there. Let me take a look here. I want to see which holes played the hardest. 11, 14, and 18. Okay. We're at 10. Again, you have a bailout left. If you're a bomber, you could probably take driver and be okay with a miss left. It's 300 here. You have all this open space. You don't want to miss right. And again, look at this. Look at this green. I mean, 30-yard green. Do they have average green width? They don't have green width. They only have fairway width. That's a shame. But again, wide green here. Not a difficult hole. But this hole, hole 11, is one of the more difficult holes. It played, let's see, 107 pars, 30 bogeys, 15 birdies last year. Surprising. Dead straight. What we got here? We got golfers out here? Dead straight. The fairway looks a little tight, but yeah, 26 yards, not too bad. Dead straight, the hole is very long. So even a 300-yard drive, you're looking at 183 yards into the green. Long hole. That's probably the only reason why I would think it was playing as hard as it did last year. One of the tougher holes. Hole 12, 244-yard par 3. I mean, an absolute bear, but again, that green. Very big green. I feel like lag putting is going to be very important this week because these greens are so big. That's why approach doesn't really matter as much. Hole 13. Approach does matter. It's not as penalizing in approach as other courses, I should say. And around the green doesn't matter. So, par 4, 398 yards. A bit of a dogleg to the left. You have bailout area a little bit to the right. This is saying a 280-yard shot. Again, what's the benefit of hitting it long? You have 316 yards out. You have these bunkers. Longer guys aren't going to be taking driver. It's going to be who can hit the fairway, who can stay short. Again, a 290-yard shot here. You have 100 yards into the green. It's a wedge. It's a flip wedge for these guys. Put it in the fairway. Put it close. Make your birdie. Two putt for par. Take it, right? All right. Hole 14, par 4. This is the toughest hole in the course, and for good reason. Almost a 500-yard par 4. You have some bailout spots to the left, right, not so much. And even if you hit a 300-yard shot off the tee, you're left with 200 yards into this green. However, again, pretty big green. Let's measure this. 27, 28 yards. So, difficult hole, but again, I think maybe you could see some guys take driver and maybe try to cut it a little bit. This is 320. That'll leave your 165 in, but I don't know if this might be a hole that is an advantage to guys that drive it farther. But again, if you're spraying it right, not much of an advantage there. And if you're hitting it into this house, no, that's a house. Wow. Yeah, that's a problem. So we'll wrap up here with the course preview. Par 5, 542 yards. Again, a hole that's going to play pretty easy. To clear the ravine, it looks like you need to carry 252, so you're going to have to take driver. This is about 300 yards, and that leaves you with 241 to the green. This says laying up and then a 42-yard pitch. Green's protected pretty well, but players scored here last year, so not too worried. This is what would terrify me if I was playing Sedgefield this week. This water right here. But again, played very well. I believe it was the easiest hole on the course, second easiest hole on the course last year. So, power through these last 3 holes. You have a par 3, 180 yards. Ugh. Just don't hit it short. Very wide green. Again, these greens, man. It's going to be at least a 30-yard, 35 yards wide. Distance control is going to be important because a lot of these greens are wide enough to where you can miss your spot and probably still be okay. Hole 17, par 4, 400 yards. This is a 280-yard drive. What's the payoff of taking driver and trying to go 350? You're going to find yourself in this little bunker. So, again, not really worth it. And then our last hole, hole 18, one of the tougher holes that played over par last year. 500-yard par 4. He had a 310-yard drive. Again, not much of a... Can't tell if this is like a waste area. Looks like it might just be burnt up grass. Take driver. How far is it to here? You don't want to take it too far. Some of the big hitters are going to have to take some off, especially if it's going to be as dry as it shows here. But got to keep it straight. Distance will help, but if you lose it in these trees, ain't no point. No point taking driver there. So that is what we're dealing with the course. I got to take a second, and I got to take a drink because that was a lot of talking. So we're done with the course. Now let's take a look at the players and what we have. And one of these, yes. So right now we have it filtered, sorted by how much the players are going to cost at DraftKings. And these are the most important, or most expensive players we have. We have Fitzpatrick, we have Bradley, we have Griffin. Glad to see Bradley's playing in one of these events. I wonder if he's on the cusp here because it feels like he's trying to get on the Ryder Cup team. That's why. He's 10th. He's 10th in the FedEx. He's probably trying to make a case for himself to, I guess it tells us right here, be in the FedEx Cup. So again, what I'm looking for, obviously, number one, we're looking for good golfers. We're looking for golfers, accurate off of the tee. If distance is sacrificed, that's okay. We don't really want guys that drive the ball far and sacrifice accuracy. In an ideal world, call us crazy, we want both. We want guys that drive the ball far and hit fairways. Crazy concept, I know. But if we had to take somebody lower, maybe that's not as good of a golfer, we can sacrifice the distance for increases in accuracy. So let's take a look at these three guys. We look at Matt Fitzpatrick, and we can take a look at his recent form. You can see here, T4 at the Open, T4 at Genesis, T8 at the Rocket Classic. In good form. Good golfer, obviously, above average in every stat. How has he done at Sedgefield in the past? That's kind of what I'm curious about. Looks like he has one appearance in 2018, T36. Why has he not played in this event more than that? I don't know. So, interesting here. And again, you look at this. I mean, strokes gained in all of these events. He's just a good golfer. You're not going to go wrong with this guy. We'll take a look at Keegan Bradley. Again, another guy, well-rounded. Hasn't missed a cut, but doesn't have a top 20. I want Twin Cities. There we go. Hasn't missed a cut, doesn't have a top 20. So that's important to note. Form, he won the Travelers. A couple of good showings here. Another very viable option at the top of this. And then you go Ben Griffin. Again, another guy who's kind of been slept on this year, surprisingly enough. Won twice, has missed the last two cuts, so he's not in great form. And then we look at how he's played. He has a missed cut, but he has a fourth and a T7. Great options, right? He's played great here. Maybe this is where he gets it back on track. Would not be crazy. That was the 10K range. As we go into the 9K range, I'm going to kind of look here at guys, really only look at guys that I know are going to fit the mold here. And I know Hideki does not drive the ball super far off the tee. It looks like he's lacking in accuracy as well. Decent finishes. Has missed the cut here the last 3 years. He has not played well at Sedgefield at the Wyndham Championship recently. 5 total missed cuts in 3. I'm actually going to make a note of that because Hideki is going to be a fade for me, given his price tag and his performance at this course, at this tournament. Not great. He is in form, but for being the fourth most expensive golfer, I'm going to pass on Hideki Matsuyama. Robert McIntyre had a decent showing at the Open. A couple U.S. Open finished second, Travelers T17. Again, good golfer. Missed a cut in a T65. I'm going to be fading McIntyre as well. I'm going to make a note of that. Spieth is interesting. He's kind of on that cusp at the 50 spot. The top 70 obviously move on to the playoffs. Not quite the year he probably wanted to have. He has a good little stretch right here. And, you know, good little stretch here. T40 at the Open. MDF. Anybody know what MDF is? I've never seen MDF. I only know withdrawal and cut and DNF and DQ. Played here great in 2013, but remember, that was when he was on his run, or at least the start of his run. Spieth, I'm a bit indifferent on. Aaron Rai won here last year. Ding, ding, ding. But he has a missed cut and a T71. Playing average golf. Is a course fit. Very accurate off of the tee. Does not have the distance. Rai probably to be determined on Aaron Rai. To be determined on Aaron Rai is what I will say. Harry Hall. Look at that flat stick, buddy. Look at that flat stick. That's going to matter a lot when it comes to, you know, actually what I'm going to do. Do we have 3-putt avoidance? Yeah, we do. Total 3 putts. Yeah. Harry Hall. Oh my gosh. Love Hall this week. The one issue I have with Harry Hall is his approach has been poor. But this is a course, again, where we see approach not that important. I mean, look, green. This is one of the easiest courses in terms of approach. You have these wide greens. I could see Harry Hall, you know, avoiding those 3 putts, hitting these wide greens, gets it done off the tee. Harry Hall is a great play. I'm just first looking at it. I'm a big fan of the Harry Hall play. Batia absolutely failed me. Finished T25 and he was T1 heading into Sunday. Cut. Fade Batia. When I say fade, I either will bet them to miss the cut or just not play him in my fantasy lineups. And we'll take a look at Jake Knapp real quick. Not a fit. But man, he's on a tear. Never played here before, it looks like. Yep. It's not even showing up as an option. Yeah. Never played here, on a tear. I'm going to put a little question mark. Are you ready? Question mark. We'll do one of those. Do a little question mark for Jake Knapp. Now we're getting into the 8K range. Kitayama coming off of a win. Siwoo Kim is someone I instantly think of as a course fit. Cut. Not great. Has had some good finishes here. I don't hate Siwoo Kim. You're kind of betting on some inconsistency if you were to take him, but he is a course fit and he has had good performances at this course in the past. We'll skip a couple of these guys. Adam Scott. He's played good golf for an older guy this year. I'm surprised with some of the golf he's played. He's had success here. It seems like that price tag is a little too high. $8,600 for a guy that's older, hit or miss. Not sure how I'm feeling about that. Ricky Fowler, my guy, coming straight off of his appearance on Happy Gilmore 2. That's what she said. T28, T14 at the Open, which is impressive. T18, couple other green ones here. Has not played well here in the past. I love to see this from our guy. Well-rounded golf. 61st in the FedEx Cup, so he needs a good showing if he wants to keep playing into the playoffs. Ryan Gerard won the Barracuda. Has not played since. Missed the cut at the Wyndham. Decent course fit. We'll see how the week off treated him. Nothing too crazy there. We'll skip Clanton. Take a look at Grazerman. Not a course fit. Playing awful golf. But he's had success here. He finished second last year. Grazerman will likely be a fade for me. He has screwed me in more ways than one. I understand that's emotional thinking, but that's how we're going to roll. Sung J M, this is a guy I think is perfect for this because his approach has been awful. His approach this year has been awful, and we'll take a look. I mean, wow. 11 straight tournaments with negative strokes gained approach. 12. Not great for Sung JM, but he is a course fit, very accurate off of the tee. We can't deny that. Even if we look at accuracy, I mean, very good. All the way up and down here this season. Wow. Look at that course history. T6, T9, T24, T2, T14, T41. Great course history here. I love Sung JM this week. I think he's going to have a bounce back. Yeah, his approach has been awful. No, I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think the approach is going to matter this week. Højgaard, another guy that's on the cusp. 71st in the FedEx Cup rankings. Take a look at him real quick. He's not a course fit. Has he played well here before? He's missed the cut. Cameron Young. Shout out my boy Matt Swab. Does not like this guy. Not a course fit. Has played. Yeah, he had a good little stretch right here, but that's about it in the dog days of summer. Kevin Yu. Another guy trying to make the playoffs. Cut, not great. Cut, not great. And again, we're really just checking. Thor Bjornsson, another guy I like. Drives the ball well, far. You can see here the accuracy lacked a little bit. He missed the cut at a course where you had to be accurate. It was paramount. Off the tee, awful. Approach, awful. That might not matter much this week. Kevin Yu. Let's take a look at Griot. Probably another great course fit. Yep, accuracy. Has not played well here, though. Coming off of a T20. Just another guy worth checking out. Keith Mitchell, another guy just right on that cusp. Not a course fit. Missed the cut last week. Not great appearances here. Previously outside of last year as a T12. 1 second. Okay. Tony Finau, another guy on that cusp, is not going to be a course fit. Never played here? Nope. Brother's just trying to get to the playoffs. Not in great form. Kind of just cruising through with some guys here. Who are some guys that are on the cut? Højgaard's not going to be a course fit. I can tell you that. Really up and down. Has never played here before. Not a guy I'm going to be super interested in. Rico Hui. Just like we looked at 3-putt avoidance. Can we filter? I'm just going to scroll to the bottom because I'm fairly certain our boy Rico Huey's going to be all the way at the bottom. Probably not a week to play Huey, if I had to guess. That's last year. Bezwedenho. Don't hate this guy. Do not hate playing this guy as an option. He had T20 last week at the 3M Open. Posted some pretty good rounds. You can see the accuracy. Driving is there. And then historically, T22. He's made the cut. He's never missed the cut. Maybe a little Bezwedenho to make the cut, depending on what price that comes out at. Don't hate it. Do not hate Bezwedenho. Chris Kirk, right on the cusp. Dang. Played here a lot. Pretty indifferent on that. Putnam's going to be a course fit. He did not play well last week. That's a huge problem. Had him to miss the cut. Ooh. That's not great. Any other names here that enter? Kanaya had a pretty good week. We hit a top 20 on him. T7th. Bad golf. Never played here before. All right. We will keep on cruising by. William Mao. The man's hot. There's absolutely no denying that the man's hot, but he's never played here before. We're going to keep on moving forward. Matt Kuchar, old fart. Does not hit the ball very far, but nice. Driving pretty accurate. T5. He hasn't played since July 6th. Seems wrong. Good finishes here. That's enough to get me on the Kuchar train for what? How? 7,000? Yeah, I'll do that. Also, like Ryo, again, he's had a good performance here. Not great recently, but a T3 last year. And this is a course that fits his strengths, especially at the $7,000 range. I like Rio. You could build some good lineups with him. Tigala. Fading him again. Missed the cut, missed the cut, missed the cut. He actually put together a pretty good round on Friday. We won't talk about that. I bet him to miss the cut, and I was sweating a little bit. Never played here. Tigala's a fade. Again, I don't trust him until he proves that this neck injury is not an issue. He's missed every cut since coming back from that neck injury. Not my thing. Not my thing. And we have a 6K range. Any guys worth calling out here? Matty Schmidt, he's a guy he's holding that 70 spot, last spot in. He has to put together a decent week. Never missed the cut here. Not a course fit. Decent golf. No. Not doing Norgard. Holy cow. Did you hear that audible gulp? Yeah, not playing him. Hasn't played great, never played here, right? Avoid Nicholas Norgard. Not rocket science, not playing guys in the 6K range. Maybe I should just point out guys that maybe I would play. Thurston Lawrence, never played here, right? So no course history there. Quaid Cummins, I've seen that name. Yeah, don't love that. Bryce Garnett, he did us decent last week. Made the cut at least. Very accurate off the tee. Old guy. Has had some good... This Bryce Garnett might be a guy worth playing if you're okay with riding the variance, right? He's a low salary guy, so you're not expecting someone to shock the world. But don't hate it. Don't hate the Bryce Garnett play. Especially because he's a good course fit. Highsmith, I don't believe, is much of a bomber. 4 straight cuts. Not a huge fan. Luke List, old guy. Yeah, oof. He has not played well here. Zach Blair, yep, there we go. Maybe worth a sleeper. 4 straight made cuts. Zach Blair, what a guy. 4 straight made cuts. John Puck, good course fit, although cut, not great. Anybody else here we want to play? Anybody else? Frankie Capon? Wow. No. Campos? No. Baddeley? No. Wow. Oh, I want to win, so Aaron Baddeley. Cristobal Dells? Nope. All right. So, that's what we have. No bets yet, right? Because it's the beginning of the week. I haven't been able to. I might do another video depending on how well this does with bets. Or maybe tweet out an image or something. So, thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments who you think is going to win this tournament. Let me know what you think of the picks of the preview and how we could do this differently heading into the PGA playoffs, the FedEx Cup playoffs. So, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. And stay tuned for our football content as well. Thank you very much.